Today, we are in a lab because I have a hypothesis. In the game Crusader Kings 3, it is better to have only one men-at-arms type, regardless of counters, and super boost them through all the buildings in your domain. I plan on comparing two different army compositions in hopes of seeing which is better for all of your warmongering needs. We will be playing a game where our final goal is to wipe the map of every Catholic kingdom in the world in only 100 years. The first 50 years, we will be using an army with a varied men-at-arms composition: heavy infantry, light cavs, light infantry, and bowmen. Then, after 50 years, we will delete all those men-at-arms and only use these extremely strong, unique heavy infantry, which will be boosted as much as possible from our domains. So by the end of this video, we should be able to say which men-at-arms composition is the best in Crusader Kings 3. Okay, that was a bit of a longer intro than usual, but here we are. If you have even half a brain cell, you should notice I am not in control of a county that normally exists in the start of a game. And then actually, if you take a look at the date, you should also notice this isn't even the start of the game. And then if you are a real OG on the channel, you would know this is actually a save where I was doing a 1 barony challenge as the Isle of Man. After thinking about my hypothesis, I realized to address something so complicated, I would need to start off with sufficient funds and a varied army. And that is exactly what we have with this start from my previous save. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is we're going to swap out some of these traditions here, and I'm going to get rid of concubines just because I don't really think it adds that much value. And you can see we do have almost 20,000 prestige. So we can finally put that to use, and what I'm going to pick up is this by the sword tradition. This tradition is really interesting because it actually lets you declare an unlimited number of kingdom level holy wars, which normally you can only do one kingdom level holy war per lifetime. This is a way we are going to be able to pick up a ton of land very quickly in this game. The only thing is, in order to declare holy wars, like let's say if I declared war on Mercia over here, you can see we don't have any holy war option. And that's because the faith we are currently playing as, which is the North faith, is unreformed. And to declare holy wars, you have to have an organized faith, which means it has to be reformed. And in order to reform our faith, we need to get a hold of 3 of these Norse holy sites and have something around like 5,500 piety. So we're pretty close on the piety front. However, before we do that, what I will do is just declare a cheeky kingdom war on all of Francia, because in our 1 barony game where we were playing as the Isle of Man, we had just finished raiding Francia and we lowered their military to 440 men. And the other thing is, I would actually like to hold this county of Paris personally for a couple reasons, but I'll explain those after we finish taking it.
Hello there.
Okay, so we didn't even have to finish taking Francia, but I think I will finish taking the capital just because there's a chance you can get like an artifact or something.
Excellent.
And we get a little shield artifact, which is pretty cool. It'll get us another bit of renown per month, which is definitely helpful. So I mentioned that the county of Paris I want to hold personally, and that is because the entire county, including all 6 of its baronies, have these lovely farmlands terrain type. And that means that if I create 2 extra castle buildings on these empty slots, we can choose for our 3 buildings the manor houses, which make you a ton of gold, the farms and fields, which make you a ton of gold, and then the barracks, which will increase our infantry, our heavy infantry damage, which of course is the entire goal of this video. So that is phase 1 of the plan completed. The next thing we have to think about is getting those 3 Norse holy sites, and the first one, luckily enough, is right nearby in this duchy, which the Norse call Joveric, and it's actually this county right here we want to get a hold of personally. But the person in charge here is quite weak, so we just need a local army, even though the local army raises all of our special Isle of Man units with it. Unfortunately, we didn't get the county we wanted, we got Leeds instead. So what I'm going to have to do is increase our crown authority to tier 2, And then I can go here and revoke this guy's title, which actually they'll accept instead of causing a war, which I do love to see. So now that we have Yorick, if we click here, you can see we can build a special Grand Temple because it is a Norse holy site. And this Grand Temple, although it does cost 1,000 gold, has some very good bonuses. And then the really interesting thing is this plus 15% knight effectiveness. That is something you don't see in any of the other Grand Temple buildings. Okay, next county we need is this Norwegian one up here, because that's another Norse holy site. There we go. We could build another Grand Temple over here, as you can see, but I don't want to hold this line personally. It's kind of not very good. And finally, the last place we need is this Swedish duchy. And these Swedes are actually pretty strong. It might be better for us to run a murder scheme on this guy first. You can see we have 95-95 if we do this. Hopefully some of these alliances will break and then we can evade him very, very easily. Okay, our scheme just finished, so let's see if we can kill this guy. And we do get the murder off on him. Now if we look at their military strength, yeah, so you can see they only have a total strength with their allies of 3,400 now. Raise a local... Man, it's kind of annoying having to raise your whole, like, special unit army every time you do this. Like, I don't want these guys. It looks like we do have an independence faction, which is getting close to being able to pass. We were pretty much able to completely stack wipe all of the Swedish army and their allies. So we have free reign to go and raid their entire lands now. And we have other Norsemen coming too. Okay, so I finished that war for the Swedish duchy. So now we have all 3 holy sites and we could reform our religion. We just need a little bit more piety to do that. But when that was happening, we actually had a peasant uprising that came against us and a Norseman army trying to take some of my French land here. And there you go. So easy as you like, we finished both those wars. Look here, we have 11 people in our jail right now who can be ransomed for money. So I'm going to do a mass ransom on them.
Gold, please.
And look at all the gold we got from that. Let's go. With that gold that we just got, I will be going on a long pilgrimage so that I can get the most piety possible, which will let us reform our religion. So I'm trying to choose between the Varanian veterans and the Huskarls in terms of which unit I'm going to want to use a lot. I think I will go with Varanian veterans. They're just flat out stronger. You can see these guys have a base of 40 while Varanian veterans have 45. But the thing that really pushes it over the edge for me is the Varanian veterans have a pursuit, which is really important for the last stage of battles after the battle is decided. If you have high pursuit and you won the battle, you can get a lot more kills on the retreating enemies. So having no pursuit really, I think, would hurt me in getting kills in battles where we completely dominate. So for that reason, I'm going to go for Varanian veterans. They are a little bit more expensive in terms of maintenance and initial cost, but I think it will be worth it in the end. So we already have light infantry, heavy infantry. We're going to need to pick up bowmen and some light horsemen, and this will round out our varied army. So there you go. You can see we finished embracing the by the sword tradition, which means if we right click on one of these kingdoms nearby to us, right? Oh, I didn't reform my faith yet. My 2 castles in Paris finished, so I'm going to get started working on the manor houses in them just because they are such good buildings for making crazy amounts of gold. And I will also make a barracks in our capital in order to start stacking our beautiful heavy infantry damage. Okay, you will also notice we are running pretty low on gold right now. We only have about 100 gold. So one thing that we can do, because we are the Isle of Man and we have that decision for 100 years, we can still run around and do a bunch of raiding voyages, even though we're feudal. Not only will this get us flat out gold from the raiding, like you can see this army already has 100 gold, which is pretty awesome, but it will also be getting us a lot of prisoners, which we can sell for good value because we also have 3 tiers of the pillage dynastic legacy unlocked, and this 3rd tier makes our prisoners worth 50% more. It also makes us more likely to get prisoners after a successful siege or raid. Okay, so here's the independence faction that's going to rise up against us, and this is important because honestly it is probably pretty strong at 8k men. It's not like the weakest thing in the world, so we will have to be a little bit careful with this independence faction. What I will do first is just run these 3 armies back in. Let's look at the total money they have. This one has 371, 141 here, and then 176. So that's going to be a massive gold influx into my armies. And then I can just run my stack around and kill all of these pesky vassals who think they are going to rebel against me. Look how many kills we got in the pursuit phase, because these guys all have a little bit of this pursuit stat. Man, these pirate units are so good. Look at these stats. They're actually so crazy.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
These guys are definitely shitting their pants right now. Another 3,000 kills almost. Holy crap.
Oh boy, here I go killing again.
Okay, at least we finished the independence war, so that's a lot of our vassals in jail. And there's the peasant war. Alright, so it looks like we finally have enough faith to be able to reform our religion. So I know I want to switch out the blot tenet because it's something I won't be using that much later in the game. And I was thinking of going down the road of picking up adaptive with the pluralist religious attitude, because what both of these do is actually lower the chance for vassals of joining independence factions and populist factions, which is going to be happening a lot this game. However, if we look at the pluralist religious attitude, you can see when winning a holy war, you vassalize infidel rulers instead of taking all their land. And what we want is once we're going to be taking all our land with holy wars for kingdoms, we want to get all the counties personally so we can distribute them ourselves. What that'll let us do is not only pick vassals who have the same culture and religion as us, but we can also look out for vassals who have traits such as craving or content, which will further make them not likely to join factions against us. And I was thinking of picking up tax non-believers, because if we were to keep Paris as a Catholic county, we would be gaining plus 20% tax in there. And since we do have 4 castles already built, this might actually be a great way for us to increase our gold income by a pretty decent amount. So I'll go ahead and reform our religion here. So after a pretty turbulent opening to this game, I think we are finally settled in and ready to really start invading some of our neighbors. If we take a look, you should now see that we have Holy Wars 4 Kingdoms available to us. Okay, so I went through and revoked all of the titles away from my vassals who are in my jails. So what I'm going to do now is try to grant away all these counties along duchy lines. And I've explained this in other videos before, but I feel like this is a good method for granting titles because it kind of keeps your vassals from fighting each other as much. If your vassals like you, it doesn't matter if they're strong, and actually if they are strong, they'll end up taking land for you, which is going to help a lot considering how much of the map we want to invade. We have quite a few counties, so what I'm going to do is find a nice Norse Gale reformed Asatru ruler who has decent traits. Like you can see, this guy is a craven, which you really like to see. Arrogant and gluttonous isn't a game changer either way. So we're going to grant him all 4 of these counties. And then eventually when we have enough money, we will create the duchy and grant it him, just so he has some of these other vassals. Like this guy over here, you can see he's Catholic and French and he hates our guts. He will actually be a vassal of this Norse guy who we just gave all the land to. Okay guys, so it looks like our character finally passed away. And I'm okay with that because he had some pretty negative things about him, which made our vassals hate him more. And our son is actually decent. It turns out he has 12 stewardship and 14 learning, which is already more than I think our last character had. So here we kind of get to show you guys what we're talking about. You can see in this big duchy down here in Burgundy, we have a bunch of different county vassals, and most of them are French, but there is the one guy who we granted 2 counties to who is Norse. So what we're going to do is create this duchy title, which gets me more prestige, which is important too, because we do want to get to illustrious here, so people will get more of a bonus to us, because the more famous you are, the more people like you. But it also allows us to grant this guy the whole title of this duchy, which means now all of those French vassals who are angry with me are now angry with him, and we don't have to deal with them anymore, which is honestly perfect. Okay, I have enough money to build the last 2 barracks that we need. So once those are finished, it'll get us another 8% bonus to our heavy infantry damage, and you can already see we are getting a 20% boost from our domain towards our Varanian veterans, which is quite decent indeed.
Nope.
Okay guys, this is big. You can see we have an available dynastic legacy, and what we're going to pick up with this is the 4th tier from the pillage tree, which you can see gets us gold from battles. And the amount of gold that we get is 5 per 100 casualties. So let's say we get into a battle and we kill 2,000 men in that battle, we would be getting 100 gold from that, which is actually very, very decent. Okay, so I have a stack of, I had a stack of 8,000 levies who just ran into this army, and I killed every single one of them. It's a Norseman invasion for the Duchy of Flanders. So let's see how much money we made from that.
Oh, shit!
And look at this, guys. Almost 8,000 men killed, 412 gold made. How about that? Okay, so it's almost 100 years since game's start, and I think now we are finally ready to, to invade Lotharingia. Okay, I was about to say we're now ready, but look at these guys raiding my land. We cannot be having this. Even better than stopping them from raiding this land, because it's a vassal's land, so I don't really care about it, is if we fight them and get a lot of kills on them, which we hopefully will. We got 1,200 kills and we made 100 gold from it. So pretty much anytime we can get some easy kills like that, I'm going to go for it just to be able to get some more value. Okay, right there you can see we just were able to get the next level of devotion, which means we can now go ahead and declare holy wars for entire kingdoms like this. We can run a holy war on the entire kingdom of Aquitaine.
Nope.
And look how he ran away when he saw us coming. That is too funny. And it looked, their capital is right on our border, so it shouldn't be too hard for us to take this and then fight off their makeshift army over here. Again, all the kills we get will go into our money. So we only killed 1,000 men there, but we got 68 gold, so we will take that. So after I finish grabbing back this tiny county, which we lost, we should get 100%, and we do. So enforcing our demands gets us all of the Kingdom of Aquitaine, and of course we get it all personally as well, which means we will have a lot of land to distribute. However, since we do have a decent amount of gold from all those battles in that war, what I can do is easily go around, create these duchies, and then grant them right away to people who are of our same culture and religion with some nice traits. And just like that, we'll be able to divide our land very nicely with a bunch of vassals who will love us, hopefully, for a really long time. So even if we do redistribute all this land to vassals who like us, it'll stop the vassals from joining factions against us. However, the peasants will hate us no matter what, because they are going to be of a different religion and faith than us. But at least it'll be only groups of peasants. So even if we see, like, I don't know, 20,000 peasants, with the amount of men-at-arms we have and how strong these men-at-arms are, I don't think we'll have any problems with dealing with them. Okay, so here come the peasants. Let's just see how many there are.
Nani?
And yeah, so 17k peasants rising up against us.
I've come for your pickle.
Okay, so there you can see that time we actually ended up capturing him. So now we can enforce our demands. Look at the absolute Chad speed at which we can research text. We just finished battlements, which will let us upgrade all of our castles to tier 2, which is something I'm going to go around and do right after this. But if I want to go get memorialism, which will let me upgrade my economic buildings further, you can see we can do it in just 11 years. Or I could go for Burrs again, which only has 18% research, but we can get that in 11 years as well. I actually think I will go for birds because that will let me do is pick up the 2 military duchy buildings, which I really want this game. And of course, if we're going for a game where we stack as much heavy infantry bonuses as we can, I'm going to go for the blacksmiths buildings because that gets me a further 5% boost to their damage and then 15% to their toughness, which is very, very good. So all in all, that would give me a pretty healthy bonus into our heavy infantry units, which right now are just doing absolutely crazy numbers. So it's been bothering me that ever since this pirate horde lost most of its fighting force, it keeps saying like we should replenish to a certain amount even though we're nowhere near that amount, because it's keeps thinking these guys are going to replenish to full even though they won't. So I think what I'm going to do is just send these guys out to the ocean so that they'll lose all their supplies and die. And you can see their numbers starting to drop now. I also completely forgot that we can upgrade our castle. And this is really the only one we can upgrade because this is the only place where we have the North scale culture. That's kind of the bad thing about having the one culture, the one county culture, is the benefits of our culture only apply to this one county. So for now, we can upgrade this castle in 6 months. But if we wanted to go around to Yoverick, for an example, we wouldn't be able to because the Anglo-Saxons don't have battlements. And same with the French, they also don't have battlements. So for that reason, what I'm going to have to do is come over here and grab my Stuart and put her on to promote culture in both these counties. And it takes a while to do this. You can see it takes 11 years for her to do that. But the downside of this is when this finishes, you can see right now our average development in all our North scale counties, which is only 1, is 34. But the second we spread it to Paris, this 14 development will then bring our average down. You can see we're missing 2 domains from our holding limit right now. So what I'm going to do is construct 2 new castles in Yoverick so that I only need to hold 3 counties, but those 3 counties will get me a total of 9 domains. So next up on the chopping block, it looks like Lotharingia is looking pretty weak. So we should be able to declare war on them for the entire kingdom and finish that without too many problems, I would think. Okay, so I just got a notification that the Byzantines actually decided to make an alliance with Lotharingia. So now they have the added benefit of having like 8,000 men, it looks like. So we'll see if they actually end up joining this war, because they probably would run over my little 3k stack that I have here. But if we take their capital, we could hit 100% if we capture an heir or something like that. There we go, and just like I said, we captured the king in the siege, bringing us to 100%, and again, you'll see we gain a ton of counties from that. So I'll just divvy these up along duchy lines like I did for the Kingdom of Aquitaine, and then I'll see you guys right after that. So now we have a bunch of new dukes over here in the kingdom we just took, and they should all have a pretty good opinion of us and our next heir because they do follow our culture, our religion, and I chose people with some traits, meaning hopefully they will be less likely to join factions against us. Alright, so it looks like my second son just got murdered, and I was taking a look at our succession, and our first son also was murdered, so it looks like somebody's out to kill all my kids. Now we are actually lined up to play as my daughter, and she actually doesn't look too awful. She has a decent learning education trait, and she's also a genius. So let's try to set her up with another person who has decent inheritable traits. So I assume this is going to happen every time we take a big kingdom. We'll have a bunch of peasants who rise up against us. The only good thing is, since we do reassign all the land to Asatru Norse Gale people, at least the vassals won't join in on these events with them. Okay, here they come. Let's see how many peasants we have. And yeah, 13,000 peasants, which honestly isn't too hard. So doing the trick where I click on the peasant leader to find their army, it looks like he's a part of this 3k stack down here. So let's raise an army right next to him and try to completely take him out.
Nope.
So again, it looks like that didn't actually do it, but now it says he's in this northern army. Okay, so the second time's a charm. We captured the guy just in, we captured the leader of the peasants, so we can now disband our army and then recruit this guy and convert him all at once. And again, we do get pretty healthy amounts of gold from killing both those armies. You can see we made above 300 gold stack wiping just those 2 armies. Yes, and I completely forgot, we have the... which tech is it exactly? We picked up Burrs, which is the military buildings upgrade tech for the early medieval era, which means we can now build our medieval duchy buildings in the counties where we hold the duchies personally. And like we said before, I'm going to be going for blacksmiths because they're going to increase our heavy infantry damage and toughness, and that's what we're trying to max out this game. So that was a huge win. You can see, if I look at this battle screen, we only had 4,500 men going into it, and they had 7,000. And when I brought my second army in, we managed to beat them, killing almost more than double the amount of men that they killed of us. If you look at them attacking us here, we should have another example of us killing an army that is a decent amount bigger than us. So just like that, we have another duchy now. But I was also looking up here, and you can see we have a decision available to us to found an empire. So I think I'm going to do it. It does cost 600 piety, so kind of all the piety we're saving to do another holy war is going to go down the drain. But it's going to be worth it just to become an empire. It will let us hold an extra domain, which we can go over here and revoke this secondary castle in Yoverick away from this guy. Also, I have just realized that we started this game in 931 and it is now 983, which means it's been approximately 50 years since the start of the game, and we were able to do this much damage with a varied military army in terms of men at arms. So what that means is we are going to go ahead and delete every single one of these units who is not a Varanian veteran, other than the onagers of course. But for our other 3 men-at-arms units that you can see we have available to us, I am going to be going ahead and filling them out with some more Varanian veterans. And then we'll see how our army does with these OP units. Okay, it also looks like Paris was finally converted to our culture. So what we can do is when we have enough money, we can go around and upgrade all of our castles to keeps. And then that'll let us upgrade the military buildings in there to tier 4. And we are pretty close to getting manorialism, so once we hit that in 15 months, we can then go around and upgrade all the economic buildings as well. I will now go ahead and start converting the culture of Yoverick because I wanted the same thing with my castles and all the buildings in there as well. And okay, we did pass away, which means we're now playing as our daughter. And we picked up a husband for her, which is somebody who has intelligent. So if we were able to squeeze out maybe 1 or 2 kids, I would really enjoy that, because right now you can see our player heir and son has no intelligent traits at all.
You do seriously surprise me.
Thank you, Chef. I was hoping you'd see that. I mean, I'd give it all I got. Give you 110.
You surprise me to how shit you are.
Oh, thank you.
We could always legitimize our firstborn son who actually has the quick trait, but I would honestly like something a little bit better than quick. We should see quite a few factions who will not like us, but let's see if any of them stick. And it looks like there's a Liberty faction that might be able to pass against us, but honestly that's not the end of the world. If that becomes close to going through, I can always lower crown authority. It's really things like independence factions that we want to be a little bit concerned about. Oh my god, it's so funny. We have a male dominated culture or religion, I'm not sure which one, so that gives them a -10 opinion with us, but like, you're also a female ruler. I think that's kind of dumb. Like, I guess it would make sense for this guy to feel that way. Pretty disappointing from this lady here. Oh, okay, so we did have a son. Unfortunately he only has the intelligent trait, but you know, we'll take that. He'll be better than this son that we're currently training who has no traits at all. We also picked up manorialism, which means we can go ahead and start upgrading all the economic buildings in our capital because we already have a tier 2 castle in here. And they do still upgrade super quick because we have a little bit more time. We still have like 50 years with this stolen city amazing buff on the Isle of Man. So it looks like we still have some French vassals who aren't Asatru Norse people. And this guy actually, if we go to demand conversion from him, you'll see he has a 62% chance of accepting. So if I actually send him a gift and get his opinion with us up a little bit more, you can see that'll bring it up to 89. So he should accept now. And he does, and he leaves the faction, meaning that we now have no factions rising up against us, and he should like us a pretty decent amount more because of that. Okay, so I just started raiding the Muslim kingdom in Spain, and they have a decent sized military, as you can see, and it actually looks like they're gonna try and come to attack me on this tile. But meeting them in battle, you can see we have a way better commander, so it should hand us a pretty big victory against them. And yeah, so we ended up killing 2,000 men, which gets us almost, gets us a little bit more than 100 gold. Paris, as you can see, has been upgraded. It is looking very cool now with those extra walls around it. What we can go ahead and do is start either upgrading the economic buildings or upgrading the military buildings. And I think I'll go for the barracks first because it's going to boost our heavy infantry damage even further. Okay, so I went on a pilgrimage and I just went up one tier in the religious tree. So now if I go to declare a war on East Francia, you can see we can take the whole kingdom for just 700 piety. And right after we win this war, we can actually do another holy war for kingdom because we have that much piety saved up right now. Okay, so you can see we have their whole army right above us here, and I think it's around 10,000 men, but my 14k army with 1,000 Varanian veteran units should absolutely wipe the floor with these guys, especially if we get bonuses from defensive buildings here. We should attack them here, and then these armies could jump in also, meaning we'll get even more kills. Oh yeah, it's happening. There you go. Easy as you like. We pick up a lot of piety from that. Ton of gold and a ton of fame. And the fame is going to help because the higher our level of fame, the more our vassals will like us. Okay, it looks like we have their whole army down here again. So if we attack them on this tile, should get another pretty big win. Okay, and there it is, 100% in East Francia as well, meaning we get a whole other kingdom under our belt. And look how nice and big our empire is becoming. We do have a lot of land which we need to grant away now. So as you guys can see, I have granted away all those counties away, and we're back of 9 of 9 holdings, and our total military should replenish to around 18,000 men. Also, if you notice the audio quality is a bit more echoey, it is because I have actually moved in between this recording session, and right now I'm currently in an empty room. I don't know if you would have saw the YouTube post or whatever it's called, where I showed my my desk setup, but that's literally all I have in this whole room. So you'll have to bear with me for now. So if you are enjoying this video, maybe think about subscribing if you haven't already. We produce only banger videos on this channel, so go watch all of those after you're done with this one, of course. But enough shameless plugging from me, let's get back into the gameplay. And again, of course, the peasants from the new kingdom we just took are very angry with us, as you can see. So we should be having another independence faction forming, and it looks like they're going to be very strong. Well, at least they're going to have a lot of men. Again, like always, we should be able to kill them without too many problems. Okay, here come the peasants. Let's just see how many there are. And yeah, so we got 40,000 peasants this time rising up against us. And look at this, we got 500 gold from stack wiping that army. So I think what we should do is just go around to the biggest stack of each peasants that we can find and just completely obliterate them. Okay, so we put down those pesky peasants, and now we should be free from factions for a little bit. I also successfully converted the culture in Joverik, so I can go ahead and create another duchy building. And of course, I'm going to be going for the blacksmiths again to further boost our heavy infantry damage and reduce the cost of the men-at-arms there. So if we look over here, you can see we have more peasants trying to rise up against me from the exact same region we just put down. But I'm trying to hit enough stewardship perks to get popular figurehead, which will actually increase our opinion with all of our peasants by 50%, or by 50 flat out. So if we get that, it'll stop these peasants from rising. But honestly, I don't even mind if these guys all rise up against us again, because we got like 1,000 gold from that, which was directly put into upgrades in our counties here. Let's see if we can take this 9k stack just with a local army of only 3,500 men. I feel like we should be able to do it because, again, they are only levies. But let's just see what happens. Boom, and look at that. I'm kind of mad we won the war just in that one battle because I only get 500 gold instead of getting to kill all the other peasants, which would increase our gold even more. Well, actually, I guess you know what I could do? Even though we won the war, I could just run around and put them down anyway. Okay, so it looks like it ends up getting invalidated eventually. You can't just milk it for unlimited gold. But you know, 2,000 gold is very, very nice. And actually, I will spend 500 on upgrading our castle in Yoverick so I can upgrade those buildings. I'll upgrade our castle, our fourth and final castle in the county that has Paris. And the rest of the money I can use on upgrading some of these manor house buildings just because they are so cost efficient. I think we're about ready to do another kingdom war, this time against Bavaria for their whole kingdom. Man, look how quick we get to invade now that we have 60 mangonel siege weapons. So I have an independence faction that's rising, which is pretty annoying because I don't have time to deal with that and fight this war at the same time. But what I can do is ship my 8-year-old daughter over to Sweden to marry this king, and he's pretty much the second strongest person in this faction. So if he accepts that, which he should, you should see it lowers the strength of this independence faction. Alright, so we just captured that last piece of land there, and now we can enforce our demands. And boom, we get a whole other kingdom and all of these beautiful counties I will now have to grant away. There we go, so we granted away the last piece of land here, so we're back below our domain limit. So you'll see that our research speed has taken a little bit of a hit because we successfully converted the 3 counties we own to the Norse Gael culture. So what that means is I'm going to want to start increasing the development in these places in order to keep our research speed high. But you can see some of these places like Yoverick actually only has 9 development. So if we start increasing our development there, it should go up pretty quick, and that'll help our research speed a pretty healthy amount. So it kind of upsets me how expensive our buildings are because I don't really have that much into economy this game. I'm more going all out for war. I'm thinking of picking up Spartan for our next cultural tradition. We do have 10,000 prestige, as you can see, so we could easily pick this up for the full price of 7,000. I was trying to think if there's anything better. There are a couple things like expert artisans is pretty decent because it would reduce our building costs by 10%, but Spartan reduces building and castle construction by 20%, and it only comes at the cost of monthly prestige. And considering how much prestige we get when we're like constantly creating duchies and granting them away from people whenever we do those holy war for kingdoms, I think Spartan is the perfect thing to do. Because right now, look at this price. Even with cutting cornerstones, to upgrade a manor house to tier 4 would cost us almost 500 gold. So that's just like way too much. I will also be appointing my son as our court physician, because if he could pick up some physician traits, that would help his learning a little bit more, and more learning means more research speed. More research speed means more innovations, and more innovations means that we will be stronger than our stupid enemies. We also have annoying raiders again coming for Yoverick. Where are these guys from actually? Oh, look, they're from Scotland. So I guess we know who we will be invading next after this peasant war, which we just won. However, I do need to just hit 750 piety. So I do have all this gold, and I could spend it on upgrading my buildings in Paris or in Yoverick. However, if we look at our innovations, you can see it'll just 3 years we will have Spartan, which will save us 20% of our gold costs on upgrading all those buildings. We also have a new dynastic legacy available to us. I could pick up the 5th one in pillage, but you can see it just gives us like a bit more speed in our siege progress, which I'm not gonna lie is pretty good. But considering we're going to have better technology than most of the people we're at war with, we should already have good siege progress from having better siege weapons. So I think instead I'm just going to go for House of Warriors, because that'll give a flat 2 prowess bonus to all of our culture's units, as well as 15% to the knight effectiveness, which is going to be quite helpful. Okay, I have enough piety to declare a holy war on the Scottish. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. They are weak. They only have 5,000 men. Okay, we just said they have 5,000 men. Did they actually hire? Oh, so look, they hired 6k of Holy Order units, But that actually reminds me, I can hire my own Holy Order units because we did create a Holy Order of our own. And oh, it looks like they got there just in time. That is awesome. These Scottish people do not give up. They keep running their armies into me, even though I have like great defensive bonuses, and I just keep destroying them every single time. After we capture this last piece of land, then we should hit 100%. There we go. So just like that, we have now taken all of Scotland for ourselves, and we can start redistributing this land. Okay guys, this is awesome. So we finished picking up Spartan. So now if we go into Yoverick and look at how much it costs to start building some of these buildings, we are now getting a 35% decrease in upgrading our buildings, which is so good. Oh my goodness, these ones in the Isle of Man are so cheap. It only costs us 37 gold to go up to tier 4 on these hunting grounds, and 2 months to do it. There you go. So we finished a round of building upgrades, as you can see. So let's go in and keep upgrading everything. We were saving our gold for a reason. Man, look at all the money we are getting out of Paris. Around 5 gold per castle is quite decent indeed. And we have more peasants rising up against us, which is pretty much like a free chance to get more gold.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
Oof, okay, so we're able to solve them. I was a little bit worried because we wouldn't have had any, we would have had a -30 from coming off a boat in order to attack them there. But I'm happy we still were able to kill all 14,000, and that was worth 750 gold. Let's go. And here's the last group of peasants. So once we kill these guys, we will have won. And we can use that nice money that we just got on upgrading more of our buildings. Ooh, and look at these nice traits my son and heir is picking up. He got Aspiring Blade Master and Novice Physician, as well as, since he was a member in my Warlike Court, he gets this beautiful bonus. Okay guys, I just finished some more rounds of upgrades in our counties. And if we take a look at our gold income, you can see we brought it all the way up to 40 gold per month. And the real thing that we want to check is this right here. The damage on our Varanian veterans is now up to 85 and with 51 toughness. And we're getting boosted by 90% from our domain. That is absolutely crazy. These guys are like tanks running through our territory. So I'm currently revoking this person's land because you can see right now I have actually a lot of room for more domains. That is mainly because I picked up divided attention, which gives me +2. But even without that, you can see I'm holding like 3 domains up here in Scotland, which are like really bad, and I don't want to hold them personally anymore. So after we finish invading this piece of land, as well as the secondary castle, oh, okay, and we managed, and we actually died. So this might be some turbulent times going forward, because there probably will be a lot of factions that try to rise up against Lee, but the only ones I would really be scared of are the independence factions. But it looks like with this character and his wife, we can already hold 9 domains. So I'll grant these two little counties away for now. And if we throw my wife on managed domain, you can now see we're at 10 of 10 holdings with leads. Okay, and it looks like the other factions actually aren't too bad. We have a Liberty faction, which I can get rid of by just lowering our crown authority. And then we have an independence faction, which isn't quite strong enough to join, which is a massive W. But the one that is strong, it looks like they want to install this lady, who is my half-sister, on the German throne. Honestly, that wouldn't be the end of the world. It's not like I'm holding any of those counties personally. But considering it's only a tiny bit above the threshold, I should be able to just like create an alliance with one of these guys and get that to go away. Also, a lot of my vassals hate me because I am only... I'm not even distinguished level of fame, but what we can do in order to fix that is we could always create some of these duchies, which we haven't yet. Like you can see this duchy, I didn't have enough money to create at the time, but I can go ahead and create that and then grant it to the person who owns this whole thing here. Boom, and just like that, we already went up 1 tier. Boom, and there you go. I didn't even have to do anything. Just from going up a couple tiers, I guess I made some more, some people had higher opinions of me, and we managed to get all of these factions below the threshold. So I actually won't even have to fight a faction war when I transfer to this new character, which is pretty massive. So Brittany has been existing for way too long. I think it's about time we finally go over here and obliterate them. We can do a holy war for the duchy, and it only costs 200 piety, so pretty good value.
Oh, great heavens!
What is up with people buying so many mercenaries? Oh, it's not even mercenaries. So yeah, everybody keeps calling in holy orders whenever we get a war going with them, so I should kind of remember that and try to make holy orders of my own. But like you can see there, even with a 9,000 man army against my 6,000 man army, we still came out with a massive victory. Boom, so easy as you like, we have won that war. Look at this, guys, we already are able to start researching the high medieval era, although we do have to wait till 1050, so technically we are ahead of the game in terms of research. Okay, I'm about to go on a pilgrimage so that I can gain a little bit more piety and also go up to devoted servant, which will let me again declare more holy wars for kingdoms. Okay guys, so if we take a look at the religion map, you can see we only have 2 large Catholic kingdoms that are left in this world. So what I've decided to do was declare war for the entire Kingdom of Italy. And if we look at Italy, you can see he's actually allied to the one other Catholic kingdom that's left in the game, the Spanish one over here. And hopefully what we can do is take all of Italy, of course, but then significantly weaken the Spanish guys so we can invade them after and pretty much be done with this video. However, I just looked and saw that they hired another 7,000 Holy Order members, which brings their current military strength alone up to 12,000. And if they bring in these Spanish guys, they'll be even stronger. I am also going to be calling in our own Holy Orders, which now have a strength of 6,400. And yeah, there you go. So we did call in the Spanish guys. So now you can see their total force is almost 20,000 men. I just saw around 11,000 men run through this mountain pass here. Oh, there they are. And they're actually already at low supply. Should we take this opportunity to try to attack them? I guess we could. Oh, it's too bad. I didn't want to attack them. Oh, look at this. So actually, I didn't want to attack them here because we would have been defending a river crossing. But it actually looks like we're going to get there before them. So we'll actually turn this... we'll actually be able to use this river crossing to our advantage. So let's see. Yeah, so we get there first. They attack us. We get some bonuses.
Inshallah.
So total troops, we were actually very even. And oh, actually kills. We did very similar damages. But look how many, look at our Varanian veterans. They killed 1,400 men and only lost 82. That is so crazy. By comparison, they have their own special knights here, which you can see their stats, which are pretty. They lost a huge amount of men as well. I'm not really sure if I want to attack them here because you can see they get the bonus from defending in mountains, but their entire army seems to be running low supplies, and the amount of damage we would get on them before these guys would be able to run in probably will turn the battle in our favor anyway. So there you go, another win, and this time we killed almost 2,000 more men than we lost, so we should be whittling their army down in size now. Here I'm just positioning my army so they can regen their supplies. Having low supplies is really bad. Like it's a, if you have this symbol, it's a -10 to your battle, to your advantage modifier, which is quite bad. And you can see all of our troops can replenish to actually 150. Oh man, it's not the time for a northern army to be attacking us right now. Like what the heck? And then we will have to go run up north with 1 or 2 of our armies in order to stop the Okay, so we killed the Vikings at least. And unfortunately, I think we are losing a battle down here. I was kind of distracted, and you can see we got captured in really unfavorable terrain. But look at this, even though we technically lost this battle and we lost 5% war score, look, we still killed more men than we lost. So kind of, that is a bit of a W, I'm not gonna lie. Also look at these idiots, they're standing in tiles where they're gonna be losing attrition. They're gonna lose 5% of their troops, which you can see is 165 men per month from standing in these 2 tiles here. Like, what are they doing?
Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind?
Here I'm catching all their armies separately, which should help. Like I just got a 5k complete stack wipe on them. And then their other armies are going to trickle in very slowly. Yeah, so we just have to take one more piece of land and then we will win this war. Let me speed through this. There we go. So enforcing our demands now gets us the whole Kingdom of Italy. Man, does our empire look very nice right now. We have almost all of Western Europe under our control. Okay, so I'm going around granting land, and I actually made a filter for people who are both trusting and content. And these people I think will be perfect to give my land away to. With all this money I have right now, you can see we did unlock the next military innovation that actually lets us increase our men-at-arms to have 10 stacks of Iranian veterans each, and have 8 stacks of siege units. We'll round these out to, I think, 6 each. Okay, here come the peasants, and this might be the most we have yet. Oh my goodness, yeah. So we have 50,000 peasants rising up against us right now. You do love to see it. That is like, I just see money bags essentially when I see that number pop up. Oh, what the heck? How did these guys get, how did these light infantry guys sneak their way into my army? Another 10,000 killed, which is, which makes us 500 gold. And then it looks like the rest of them, there's 12,000 running around down south here. I'll have to see where they go before I can kill them. Alright, so I finally killed all those peasants, and you can see it was a very fruitful war because we now have 3,000 gold. So what we can do with this money now is if we go to our military, I think we might just have enough. Okay, so I spent all of my money, and you can see we have 3 full stacks of Iranian veterans, and then 2 we're just missing. And you can see we were just missing 4 stacks of Iranian veterans, and we will have a completely full contingent of men-at-arms. Okay guys, there is only one Catholic kingdom that is strong enough to do anything, and that is this Spanish one right here. So I think it's about time we have enough piety to declare a holy war against them for their entire kingdom. Let me raise just a local army with only men-at-arms, and let's see if we can get this war done with only 4,400 Iranian veterans. Alright, so if you look over here, it looks like the Muslims are also invading Spain. So let's take our stack of Iranian veterans and attack them as well, just to get some more money. You can see our gold income just went up by like 500 gold from attacking those guys there. And now we can attack the Spanish on this tile, seize the land they were taking, and we're already at 82% in this war. Let's go. Look at how fast we are sieging stuff too with our 160 mangonels. Man, I do love just seeing this gold income come in from all these battle wins. That is just too funny. Once we take their capital, we should hit 100% and we'll get their whole Spanish kingdom to ourselves. Boom, there you go guys. So we have dismantled every single Catholic kingdom in the game. So what I'm going to do with that gold is go over here and finish maxing out all of our Iranian veterans. So now we will have a full 5k stack of Iranian veterans. We also had some Vikings who just declared war on us, which is kind of funny because we're like the real Vikings in this game, conquering all of Europe. I'm definitely not going to, I'm not gonna complain about getting a free 425 gold from killing an AK stack, and it only cost me 33 men. Alright guys, so now that we have taken over every single Catholic kingdom in the game, let's take a look at our map. And you can see we have completely shattered Europe in terms of the faith map. The Asatru faith is dominating Western Europe right now. The only place left that we still have to take, of course we have to take over Rome and the Pope, because he is the head of the Catholic faith, and then once we destroy him, they will be the Catholics will be completely wiped off the face of the planet. So let's go ahead and declare a holy war for the Duchy of Rome here. Don't ask me why this, their logo isn't showing up here. I don't know what's happening there. We will go over here and raise a local army of all of our Iranian veterans. He'll probably call in a ton of mercenaries and Holy Order members. But what we can do in response is call in our own Holy Order members, which actually have armored footmen now. Look at this. So we'll sail these guys down here as well. And now guys, with our 5k stack of Varanian veterans and our lovely Holy Order, which has 450 armored horsemen, which are crazy strong, we can now march in here and hopefully completely destroy the Pope's armies. They do have quite a bit more men than us, as you can see. Their units are not nearly strong enough. You can see they have all of these levies in here, which are just pretty much wastes of space. They stand no chance against our units. Look at this utter destruction. That's right, we just completely stack wiped both of their armies. That's 15,000 men we just completely stack wiped from that. We pretty much have free reign to go march into here now and invade Rome. Oh, he even called another 5k stack of mercenaries just because he has so much money to spend. But you know what, Pope? We even have more money than you, so there's nothing you can do to stop us. There we go, guys. Look at their army. They're trying to call in more mercenaries and holy orders, but they just don't learn that they do not stand a chance against all of my Varanian veterans, which, by the way, are now doing 92 damage with a 106% boost from our domain. We will now enforce our demands, and we have done it. We have completely wiped this world of all of its Catholic rulers and replaced them with the beautiful disastrous faith. Alright everybody, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys can get more videos like this and to stay notified on all the exciting stuff I plan on doing in the future. But with that said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.